Hey, finally sitting down to film a video. I feel like crap today. I'm kind of sick. I don't know, my throat doesn't hurt as much as it did earlier, but I'm kind of stuffed up. But I needed to sit down and film my little winter wrap up and spring TBR because it is basically spring. I know it's like not officially. Is it officially spring? Hey Siri, when's the first day of spring? Oh, March 19th. Okay, it's in literally a few days. So perfect timing. Basically, I'm gonna be talking about all the books I've read in December until now, so like all winter, and then tell you guys what I'm planning on reading in the spring. I almost never really read what I tell you I'm going to, but it's okay. I feel like I got a few in here from my little winter TBR video. Again, let's start with what I read in December, and we'll just kind of go. I have my stack of books right here. A few of these, obviously, if you've watched my like yearly wrap up, I've talked about, so I'll go kind of quick with those, but we'll get more into the ones that I've read. I've read a lot this year already so far. Also, part of that is because I'm taking a fantasy English class and we're reading like fantasy books for that, so that definitely helps a lot. But let's just get into it. I'm just rambling right now. So I've talked about this first book that I'm going to talk about a lot already, and that is Baggage Claim. Okay, I didn't write down, I forget, Juliana Smith, is that the author's name? I'll put the thing up here, but I read it on my Kindle. I read it for my reading Christmas books video. I talked about it before. I rated that a 3-star. It was okay. It wasn't anything like crazy good. It was just, you know, a cute little Christmassy-ish book, and it was cute for what it was. And the next book that I read in December is Heartstopper Volume 5. If you watched my Vlogmas, you saw me go on a little kind of almost adventure to get this book, but this was good. 5 stars. I just love this series and these characters. It's a graphic novel, if you guys don't know. All the Heartstopper books are graphic novels, so obviously I just like sat down and read this in the night. I'm really enjoying where their story is going. Can't wait to see how it's portrayed in the next season of the show, and I'm so sad that there's only one more volume left, so I'm very nervous to see how it like all wraps up. That's gonna be very interesting, and I feel like I'm not gonna want to read it because it's gonna be over. Back on the Christmas video, Christmas books video, Blame It on the Mistletoe. I rated this one 2.75 stars, which is really specific. It was just weird. I don't know. I didn't feel the chemistry between any of the people who were supposed to be like falling for each other, and they like, the two main characters swap houses and they live in different countries, so they stay at each other's houses for like the Christmas season for like different reasons, and like the premise like is so cute. Like I love that idea, but I just feel like it wasn't executed the way that it could have been. And the last book that I read in 2023, I literally finished this. Okay, I technically finished this January 1st, but I read like 95% of it in 2023, so. And that is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is the best thriller I've ever read. This is actually a thriller. I feel like the other books, like The Housemaid's Secret or like The Housemaid and like Verity and The House Across the Lake, those are like technically thrillers, but was nothing like super thrilling about them. They're more like mystery type things where like some things happen sometimes. This constantly, from start to finish, there's something going on. There's something that you're scared of, or you're like trying to figure out, or like when I was reading this, I was literally like looking around me like, oh my god, like it's that scary. And I want to read every other book by this author, which you will see in my spring TBR. But it was so good. I read it so fast. I wasn't expecting it to be this little tiny baby book when I ordered the paperback, but it's okay. It helped me read it really fast, I think. I don't know, there was just something about this. It just kept me going. It was so good and like genuinely scary. The first book that I read in 2024 was The Fine Print. If you watched my like reading my TBR video from the beginning of the year, you saw me read this, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I rated this 4.5. I don't know, I might lower the rating, but we're just gonna stick with what I have written down. This is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I just really wanted to read a book by Lauren Asher because I feel like everyone raves about her, and she has like a new series that she's working on right now that I want to read, so I feel like I need to read this first to like get into that one. And it was good. It's just about, you know, like a billionaire who's like trying to inherit his grandfather's his theme park and all this stuff. And I don't know, I didn't super feel the chemistry between the two characters, but I did like their like little story, and it was cute. The way it ended was cute. I'm excited to read the other two brothers' stories. So I guess we'll see where that series goes. And then I read Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. This was the 2022 book of the year, Barnes & Noble, and that's when I bought this book, was like when it was like the 2022 book of the year. So this was the longest book I've had on my TBR, and I just was like, I didn't want to pick it up because I was like, I don't really know. I bought it because I think it was like on sale, and I was like, well, if it's the book of the year, it must be good. Also because the sprayed edges are so cute. I love the blue. But I rated this 4.5 stars. Like, I liked this way more than I thought I would. Again, go watch that video if you want to see me like really get into it. But I really enjoyed the story. I feel like the ending was kind of ambiguous and maybe not, it's like very anticlimactic. I feel like it just kind of, because you're just following this like woman's life for like just a period of her life, and then, you know, obviously there's no crazy big whatever thing, so it just kind of ends. And I think that was very interesting, and I know there's a TV show on it, so maybe I will watch that. I don't know. Yeah, it was good, and I enjoyed the like chemistry and the feminism in it because it's set in the 1960s. Then I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and this is definitely, she's definitely one of my new favorite authors. This is the only book I've read of hers, but definitely up there on my list now. I loved this book. If you can't tell, I literally tabbed it and like underlined stuff because I loved it so much, because the anxiety representation in this book is like the most accurate I've ever seen anywhere. Like, really. So it just like, I really like related to the character who had anxiety and was like going through that. It's about two doctors, which is really interesting to me, and it's like kind of fake dating, and just they talk like through little notes. It was just so cute, and apparently she always has dogs in her books, so got the dog there. I rated this 5 stars. This is my first 5-star of the year. And I stand by that. It was really good, and I'm very much looking forward to reading her other books. Then I feel like I'm like, check out this video for more whatever, but I like basically read books for videos. So for my finishing one book in one day video, I read Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Watch the video to find out if I do finish it in a day. I rated this a 3.75 star. I've read most of her other books. This is her first YA book. I think it was okay. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not some whatever professional in writing, but I think she should stick to like the more adult like books, if that makes sense. Like, the YA was cute, but it almost felt like she was holding back at some points, and like her writing didn't shine through as well as it could have, maybe. I don't know. I didn't really feel the chemistry between them. Oh, I forgot to talk about this one book that I read for my class. It's the 4th book in the Narnia series, Prince Caspian. I read it, so I'm counting it. It's just a little like basically children's fantasy book, but I read it, so I'm counting it because I had to read it and like analyze it for my class. Then, guys, if you follow my Bookstagram, couldn't think of the word for a second, you know that I finally finished the ACOTAR series. I finally read A Court of Silver Flames. I've been putting this off for like months. I told myself like back in November I was just gonna read like 2 chapters a night and like get through it. And then finally I sat down and was like, I just need to finish it. I rated this 4 stars, which was higher than I thought I was going to, especially at the beginning, because it is 3rd person and it's following Nesta, which you don't, if you know anything about the series, you don't really like her. Like, she's not the most likable character, but I fully enjoyed her character development in this, and everything that happened I think had to happen for a reason. It just, she went through a lot, and like you get to understand that in this book. I feel like this book is definitely a lot longer than it needed to be. Yeah, I really liked Nesta and Cassian's story. It was just crazy at the beginning. I really can't talk about it though because it's like the end of a series, so I can't, no spoilers. It was good. It was way better than I thought it was gonna be. I had to read Lord of the Rings for my class as well. There's another book that we had to read, but I'm not really counting it because I didn't fully read it. I just kind of skimmed it and read Spark Notes. Don't tell my professor. I kind of have like no thoughts on it. I kind of don't really understand what went on in this book, but it was read. Then I read Heartless by Elsie Silver. I actually read it on my Kindle, but I do have the series because I just love these covers. I'm still looking for Flawless in this cover, but I feel like it's a fruitless search at this point. I just cannot find a decent priced like mirror cover for that. Or if I do, then it's like a fake, whatever. But I have the rest of the series in these covers and they're so pretty, and I rated this 4.5. I kind of wasn't in love with the couple because it is age gap. So I didn't love the couple at the beginning, but you really like just fall in love with them throughout the whole book, and I enjoyed the story. At some points it was like, okay, this is dragging on because it is a pretty long book. I really liked Willa. I liked her character, and then Willa is the best friend of Summer from Flawless, so I was like, obviously they're all like interconnected standalone type things, but I would recommend reading this in order because I feel like there's a few like references in this book that you wouldn't get if you haven't read Flawless. But yeah, it was just a cute little like cowboy romance, whatever. Guys, if you've watched any of my like wrap-ups from last year, you'd know that I DNF'd this next book, but I finally finished it and I rated it 4 stars. And that is The Silent Patient. I started reading this in October for a video that never saw the light of day because I DNF'd this book and I could not get myself to read anything else. But I did read The Silent Patient and I feel like maybe I would have liked it a little better if I didn't DNF it and I just, because literally of course I like pick it up and like the story starts getting like good and starts moving. Because I DNF'd it, the story, I felt like the story wasn't going anywhere. This definitely got me. The twist got me. I was not, well, I feel like I guessed the twist like 2 or 3 pages before it was fully revealed. So it wasn't like a huge shock. But like once I figured it out, it's like, oh my god, like this has got to be it. I definitely recommend reading this, like especially if you're just getting into thrillers. So that is the last book. I just finished that a few weeks ago. That's the last book that I've read in full this year. But I'm currently reading Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score with my cute little bookmark. But I'm enjoying it. I'm not very far, but I'm enjoying it so far. I just, once school like really picks up, like February was really the last month that I was able to really read a lot. So I just kind of read a few chapters of this a day, and I am in fact still, okay, I don't have the dust jacket, but I am in fact still reading Iron Flame. But spring break is next week, so I think I'm just gonna kind of force myself to sit down and just get through this. Also, I feel like a lot of people didn't love this one, so I'm like, okay, that makes me not really excited to read it. But so those two are books that I'm currently working on reading. Now let's get into my spring TBR and all the books that I'm planning on reading this spring, hopefully. I'll start with the ones that I don't like have physically, so I have them written down. I think April 1st, or like literally right at the beginning of April, this one comes out, and that is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Very excited to read more of her books, and the cover for this one is so pretty, and I feel like it's just a perfect summer read. Then of course, Emily Henry's new book, Funny Story. I'm so excited. As soon as she, like, I would read anything she writes. I would read her freaking grocery list. I think one time she literally posted on Instagram her like grocery list because everyone like always says that. But she's funny, and I just love her writing so much. And her books are just so much more than like a romance book. Like there's just so much more to them, and I always enjoy them. Next on this list is No Exit by Taylor Adams, which is out already, but I just don't have it. I have it on my Kindle actually. It's on Kindle Unlimited, which I found out the other day. Because I've been looking for it in stores, and I cannot find it in Barnes, Walmart, Target, and I just like don't feel like ordering it online. So Taylor Adams is the author of No Exit, the thriller that I was raving about. I think he has one or two other books as well, but this one just sounded like the best out of all of them, and like the one that's next on my list. And I didn't know this, but apparently there's a Hulu movie out on it. So then the last one that I don't have with me but that I really want to read, and I think it's out, is Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. I really want to read Girl Abroad because it's about a girl who does study abroad, and I'm not doing study abroad, but I am going abroad this summer, so I'm like, I want to read that, and I think that would be so cute. And then I just kind of picked out these 3 from my shelf because these are definitely high on my priority list. I bought the 7-Year Slip like right when it came out last year, and I was like, I'm gonna read this, and then I never did. But then it like got really popular. Most people seem to like really love and rave about this, so definitely want to read it soon. Definitely want to read that. Love the cover. Then this next cover. This next cover is like really pretty, but it's also like not a book that I'd like read in public. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. It's a really pretty cover, and all of her covers are so like aesthetic, but it's like whenever there's like a couple like on the cover, I don't know. It's almost like gives me an ick. I don't know. I would love to get into this series as well, but I feel like I almost need to finish the Chestnut Springs series before I can get into like a different like cowboy ranch western series. But I don't know. I'll probably just read this maybe like on a weekend or something, because it's so like short too, so I feel like it's a perfect like book to just take outside and sit outside on a nice day and like read. Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. This is the only other book of hers that I have not read. This is her newest release. I've heard mixed reviews on this. I feel like you either love this book or you hate it. I thought it was like a fantasy, but it's just a paranormal romance. So it's just this vampire, daughter of a vampire, and then a werewolf. So I don't know how that's gonna work out or like what that even means. I'm hoping I love it, but I'm also looking forward to her other new book coming out in the summer, but that'll be in my summer TBR video. So that is what I am hoping to read this spring. I feel like I can do that. That's like or 7 books. We'll see. So those are the books that I read in the winter, what I'm planning to read in the spring. Let me know what you guys read or what you're planning on reading, or like any new releases you think I should check out. My foot is asleep. I literally cannot feel it. I'm gonna end this video here because I am falling apart apparently. Oscar's like sitting back here just like minding his business. Okay, I thought he wasn't breathing for a second. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you next week for another one. Bye.